What's up, y'all? What is up? It's your girl EJ back with another family business talk. And today, y'all, we're going to be talking about Rio. Now, we need to know what is going to be going on with Rio, y'all, because Rio is also going to get a side story, but his side story is going to tie into the main story. And y'all, it's a juicy one. So first and foremost, let's go to the description. And I want to read to y'all what BET Plus says in the Series 5 description about Rio. It says that a thief in the night proves to be more than just a random robber, and he leads Rio on a hunt that will change the Duncan family forever. Now, not only that, on the season 5 episode entitled Special Delivery, the synopsis reads, Paris reveals the truth about her past with Niles and recruits Curtis to solve the Rose mystery. Donna meets an unexpected ally, and Roman takes drastic action to save his mom, y'all. Who the heck is Roman? Well, I'm about to tell y'all all about who Roman is. Now, I will have to dig into the books in order to give you guys some context about this character that's going to be coming to the show, who he is, and what they could possibly bring into the television show side of it. Now, if you are not into the books and you don't want to hear this, then I would suggest going, past this video until after episode 3, and then you can come back and watch it if you so choose to. So anyway, y'all, let's dig into book 5. I'm about to tell you the story of when Paris and Rio were born. Let's get into it. Okay, y'all. So it's no secret that Chippy has had 3 other children before Paris and Rio came along, as in physically had them. She had Vegas, she had Orlando, and she had London. And then, of course, she raised Junior as her own. So now she's pregnant with twins and she's at the hospital. And her and Elsie are in the delivery room. Of course, he's doing what he always does, moving back and forth, still nervous about having, another kid. Like, even though they've done this so many times, he still gets really nervous about it. So anyway, we are going to meet a character by the name of Margaret. She's going to be the nurse at the hospital, right? And she's going to be helping Chippy, and she's going to be a really good nurse. She's just helping her along, making sure that everything is going good. And what I love about Margaret is that she has this great bedside manner, and Chippy immediately notices that. Now, when they are actually getting ready to deliver the first baby, because Chippy is definitely in pain, she can't get any pain meds initially because it's happening so fast. They deliver the first baby, and of course, the first baby is going to be Paris. They already knew that Paris was going to be a girl because that was the only baby that they could see when they did the sonogram, because Paris was actually hiding Rio. So they didn't even know what sex Rio was going to be because, of course, Paris took the show. But that doesn't surprise us at all because Paris always takes the show, right? So anyway, y'all, it looks like Rio needed some attention. So Chippy was like, look, I need you to go down to the nursery with Naomi, who was the other nurse, and, make sure that the twins are okay. And so that's exactly what Elsie does. Now, while he's going down to the nursery, it's time to deliver the afterbirth, but a nurse comes in and says, hey, you're needed. Dr. Preston, there's an emergency and he needs to leave. But of course, Margaret has done this time and time again. She knows how to deliver afterbirth. So of course, he leaves Chippy in good hands with Margaret, right? And he tells her to take care of her while he goes to take care of this. Chippy is okay with it. She says, fine. Now, mind you, he had already given her another little light sedative to help ease the pain. So now that she's feeling better, she's okay with it. So her and Margaret start to have this conversation, right? They're talking about children. She's asking her, do you have any children? She's like, no, the good Lord never saw fit for me to have any children. And then Chippy tells her, like, look, I think you would be a good mom and you deserve a baby. So anyway, y'all, the nurse continued to help Chippy, and Chippy was going in and out of consciousness. And she told her that she doesn't think she wants any more children. She's like, after these two, I think I'm done. Yeah, Chippy began to have, a severe pain. Like it was just really bad. And she said that her back was hurting really bad. Like it was just hurting. So the nurse was like, let me give you some more sedatives. So she gave her another sedative to try to help ease the pain. And then Chippy said that she just felt the need to push. So she went ahead and she pushed. And the nurse told her, like, it's more than likely probably you have to go number two or something. And Chippy was embarrassed and she was like, I don't want to do that. But she was like, I'll make sure you get cleaned up. Don't worry about it. You've been through a lot. You just gave birth. So Margaret, of course, has the best bad manner, and Chippy really, really is liking Margaret, right? So anyway, Chippy kind of falls out of it again after she gave this big push because she felt like she needed to push. So she pushed after Margaret assured her it would be fine and that she would clean her up. She did this push and then she just kind of went out of consciousness and fell asleep because once again, she's on all of these sedatives, right? Now, when Margaret looked down there because she was going to get ready to clean her up, she noticed that it definitely was not a number two at all. As a matter of fact, it was another baby crowning, y'all. There was a third baby, there was a triplet. And the baby was crowned. And so Margaret just pulled the baby out gently. Chippy, of course, is still unconscious, has no clue that she has just given birth to a third child, right? So Margaret is holding the baby. She's talking to the baby. And then, she begins to kind of go on this rationalization. She begins to tell herself, like, how unfair it was that this lady was able to have three children and she can't even have one. She was like, that's not fair. I want to have children, but I can't have children. She gets to have all of these children, and I don't even get one. And she doesn't even realize that she's pregnant with a third child. So she's just having all of these rationalizations. But in these moments, while she's rationalizing everything, she made up her mind right then that she was going to keep this baby regardless. Nobody knew about the baby. There was no doctor in sight. There was not another nurse in sight. It was only her and Chippy. And Chippy was so out of it, she didn't even know. When they did the sonograms and stuff, the baby never showed. He was so tiny that you couldn't even see him. So there was that. So nobody would ever know if she decided to maybe keep this baby for herself. So anyway, Margaret ended up putting a bracelet on the baby's leg, and she wrote Carmichel. Carmichel just happened to be her family's maiden name. And so happened it was also the name of another patient who was just there not too long ago that had just given birth, that had just left. So it was kind of like the perfect cover. So she basically snuck the baby out. The nurse at the nursing station didn't even see her. She walked right past her because she was busy, and she put the baby in the nursery. And when they asked about the baby, like, whose baby is this? She was like, oh, this is the Carmichel baby. They came back in for some tests, yada, yada, yada. So it wasn't unbelievable. She was just like, I'm just going to leave the baby here until they're done. Right. And so that's what she did. She left the baby there. She did the rest of her shift. Meanwhile, when she went to lunch, she, of course, did more rationalization of it. And she even went and got car seats and all types of baby stuff for this baby. Right. And then when she came back, she found out that Chippy had been looking for her and she wanted to talk to her. So she goes in to see Chippy. And when she goes in, she sees the entire family. Nene is there. And then all of the kids are there. London, Orlando, and Junior, Vegas. All of the kids are there. Of course, Elsie. And they're all just loving on their new baby brother and baby sister, right? And she sees that this is a loving family and that they of course have money because LC even offered to give her money, like tip her for being such a good nurse to his wife and taking such good care of her, right? But she said that she couldn't take it, and then she rationalized it again. She's like, I may can't give him, all the money, but and yes, they give a lot of love, but I deserve this. I can give him love. Like she just kept rationalizing why she was doing this. And ironically, it just all played out just well for her. She was able to get the baby out of the hospital without anybody noticing it. Um, I mean, it was just perfect. It's like everything lined up for her. And because everything lined up for her, of course, there was more rationalization because she felt like it was kind of meant to be because she didn't get caught for one thing, right? So when she got home, the next thing was now I have to explain this to everybody else. So when she comes in and her sister sees her and her sister is like where is this baby? Where is this newborn baby come from? Like you definitely weren't pregnant, yesterday or last week. And then she tells her, like, look, this young woman came to the hospital. She was outside by I believe she said by the dumpsters or something. And she was about to leave the baby. And I just, told her I would keep the baby and that I would take care of the baby. And I just didn't take her inside. I didn't take the baby inside because I didn't want them to put the baby into any foster systems. And she knew that this would resonate with her sister because her and her sister had been through foster system after foster system after foster system. And she knew that that would touch on her sister's heartstrings. And so her sister was like, but her sister still wasn't quite easy with it, but at the same time, she understood. And since nobody knew about it, they just went along with this story. And then they decided to give the baby a name. And lo and behold, they ended up naming the baby Roman Carmichael Johnson, right? So this is where the character Roman is going to come into play. So it is my theory or assumption that based off of the description that Roman is going to be the thief in the night that is going to send Rio on this hunt that's going to change the Duncan family forever. Rio is going to be trying to figure out what's going on because this person is going to look so much like him that in the book there's actually mistaken identity. Like people actually think that Rio is him and he is Rio. The problem is that they're like, why is he dressed like this? But it's the facial thing that gets them that to the point where, like, okay, why does Roman have his hair color? Why does Roman look like he's playing for the other team now? But then, at the same time, it's just this thing that they just look so much alike. So I'm assuming that Rio or the guy who plays Rio may actually double in this because I can't find any character information or like any new characters or who's going to play this character. So maybe he'll do like how they do where the same person plays the same person. So maybe that's how they'll work this all out. I'm not really sure, but I do know that this was a very interesting story in book 5. I am glad that they are actually incorporating this. And as you could see, this is why this would change the Duncan family forever because they would be getting a whole new Duncan to the family, a child that they never knew about, a whole situation where they had a third child and were never aware of it. And now they're having to learn this whole different child. And at the same time, this child also has a mom that he loves and is trying to save because the only reason why it comes out, and this is speaking from the book version, is because the mom is going to be dying and she doesn't want to die with this secret. And so, of course, she ends up telling what happened and how it happened in order to let her son know who he really is and so that he doesn't have to be alone. So I'm sure they're going to paint some version of this story inside of the television show. I can't wait to see it. I think it would be a dope storyline to tell. Let me know what y'all think. Would y'all like to see this storyline or do you think that, you'd rather just not have this storyline in the family business? So anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Go ahead and get the conversation started down below. Meanwhile, if you like the video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to your girl channel. Turn on your notifications so that you do not miss out on any of my future The Family Business Talks. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.